Well, I grew up on a mill hill, what you say, a mill hill, and there in Whitney, which is right outside of Spartanburg. And I've always liked racing, as far as that goes. And ever since I went to the fairground, I'd go over to the fairground, they'd be running over on a dirt track there. And I'd go over there and climb a tree and watch the race. Of course, it cost me a quarter to climb that tree. The guy that had the tree is in his yard. It's right in the middle of third and fourth turn. So it had good seats up there, good places to sit. He, excuse me, he had planks boarded across the limbs and stuff like that. So, and he charged a quarter to go up there and sit and watch the race. And I said then, when I got big enough, that's what I was going to do. I wanted to drive a race car. Well, see, I drove for Cotton Owens, and then there was a mix-up on that deal reason that I quit Cotton, and he thought we run off and left him. We had a race in Columbia that night, and he thought that me and the boys run off and left him to drive the truck down and go down by himself. But we had gone to get some ice for the cooler, and when we got back to the shop there, and we seen the truck was gone, and so we said, he's done run off and left us. So we took off to Columbia, but what he done, it made him a little mad, which it would have me if I had run off and left him or something like that. But anyway, he just took the truck and everything, just pulled it back in the garage. And so closed the doors and went home. So we didn't know he'd done that. But anyway, when I went in, they said that, well, Cotton just fired us for running off and leaving him. I said, we didn't run off and leave him. He run off and left us, Yeah, but anyway, we found out later that he didn't, before then. And so I went in and talked to him. I said, what you trying to do? Firing everybody? He said, yeah. So it looks like it. And he said, if you don't like it, you can go too, just like that. And I said, well, I sure don't like it. So I turned around and walked out, And so that was my end of him then. But we're as close a friend as anybody I got right now is Cotton, Every Sunday that, she's been ill here lately, his wife. And anytime that they can go after church, we always go by and pick them up and take them out to eat, So we do that. And of course, I ain't ever really been mad at him, but for as many people as I drove for, I've never had a contract. I just always shake hands with them. I say, that's, good enough for me. If you don't want me, I don't want you.
Wow.
And if you don't want, and if I don't want you, you don't want me, that's for sure. And so anyway, that's all I've ever done. I've never really had a contract as far as that goes. But we had some good years, won championship a couple of times. I left there and went with Holman Moody, and it seemed like that was the best thing that ever happened, because with Holman and Moody, I run the race. Of course, now I won the championship with Cotton one time too, and
right.
So I went with Holman and Moody, and we run for championship. And this car here is just exactly like the car that I had when I won the championship, And it's one of the best model cars that I've ever seen, and built the way it is I don't know of a thing on this it wasn't on the race car. And I'm holding right here right now. I see something red on the inside down. What is that? The fire extinguishers?
Yes, sir.
I couldn't really tell if I get on the other side, but it is a fire extinguisher, and everything in there is, like I say, the trunk opens and it's got the fuel cell and all that stuff in there.
Well, tell me one thing. When we were working on this car, you and I together, I remember one thing you kept telling me, because initially I wanted that car, the whole body, the bottom part, to be in blue. But you kept saying you wanted that hood black. Tell me
Well, I
the
did.
story about that.
The first time we run the car, I think it was blue, and but you couldn't see, especially if the sun was shining. Say if we Daytona first race or some whatever, but Riverside, California was first race. But the sun, if you're running in towards the sun and it was real slick and shiny, it would blind you. Right. The sun shining into it, and we'd always put tape you know, maybe down as far as the windshield as we could. You know, you had to kind of look under it to keep the sun out of your eyes. And so we painted the hood flat black. And that's the way that we run it all after we painted it there, you know. But after the first time that the sun was out and I seen it, we knew then that I couldn't run it that way. Well, first, well, the reason I left Holman Moody there, we was out in Riverside, not, not Riverside. We tested there, and then I think we was at Ontario, California, tested. And we just built the car and everything, went out there to test, and we was running real good. And we left and went to eat lunch one day, and when we come back, Charlie Gray with Ford Motor Company, he was there. He said, well, boys, said we just pulled out of racing. Said, you might as well just load up and go on back home. And they quit while we was out there testing. And so we loaded up and come home. And anyway, that of course the cars was already built and everything. And John Holman, I went up there and talked to him, you know, after that, wonder what they're gonna do and stuff like that. And he said, well, we got enough stuff, and Ford's got enough that we can go ahead and keep running, you know, for a year anyway. And he said that he wanted me to drive for 40%. And I've always got 50 everywhere I ever went, you know. So I said, John, if you think that 10% is going to keep you in business, I said, that ain't going to do it. You know, I know that dime ain't going to make no difference to you. But I said, I've never have drove for that, and so ain't no need to start now. So anyway, I left then, and a couple of weeks later, Wood Brothers called me, you know, about running for them. So I went to work with them, driving for them.